hearing. We ask that public comments relate to the subject announced by the President. In addition to public hearings, there are 2 public comment periods, one at the beginning of the meeting for agenda items and one near the end of the meeting for general comments. This meeting is being recorded and will follow the rules and procedures adopted by Levy Court as well as Mason Rules of Order. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. I would ask Commissioner Angel for the invocation, Commissioner Hall for the Pledge of Allegiance, moment of silence for our troops and first responders. Commissioner Sweeney, all rise.
Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight to guide us on behalf of our constituents. Please guide our minds, our hearts, for the good of all our people. Give us safe travels home tonight. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our military, law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, and other first responders who have given their lives in the line of duty. Please remember these individual first responders who died in the line of duty, as well as keeping their families in your thoughts and prayers as they deal with the loss of their loved ones. Sergeant Shu Deng from the Los Angeles Police Department, Under Sheriff Brandon Gade from Phillips County Sheriff's Office in Kansas, Police Officer Kendall Isaiah Corder from the Milwaukee Police Department, Detention Officer Francisco Paul Flats from Cherokee County Sheriff's Office, North Carolina, Deputy Sheriff Devin Mason from the Darlington County Sheriff's Office, South Carolina, Officer Miguel Cano from the California Highway Patrol, Deputy Sheriff Antonio Ailman from the Dona Ana County Sheriff's Office in New Mexico, Parole Agent Joshua Lamont Bird from the California Department of Corrections and Rehab, Detective Joshua Kelly Eklund from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Detective Victor Lemus from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Detective William Osborne from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Police Officer Philip Wagner from the Lorain Police Department, Ohio, Deputy Sheriff Elijah Ming from the Wyandotte County Sheriff's Office in Kansas, Deputy Didarul Islam from the New York City Police Department, Canine Officer Raven from the Tucson Police Department, Canine Officer Sam from the Lexington County Sheriff's Department, South Carolina, Canine Officer Georgia from the Dade County Sheriff's Office in Georgia, Canine Officer Oya from the North County Police Cooperative in Missouri, Battalion Chief John Morrison from the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department in Idaho, Battalion Chief Frank Harwood from the Kootenai County Fire and Rescue in Idaho, Firefighter Lee Krause from the St. Louis Fire Department in Missouri, Chief James Sitek from the West Colesville Fire Company in New York, Firefighter Safety Officer Amy Lee from the Van Dyne Fire Department in Wisconsin, Firefighter Jonathan Ashworth, Beauregard Parish Fire District Number 4 in Louisiana, Assistant Chief Jason McGlone from the East Branch Fire Department in New York, Firefighter Paramedic Jairus Hodge from the St. Lucie County Fire District in Florida, Captain Nick Van Dam from the Murdo Volunteer Fire Department in South Dakota, and Firefighter Ray Moreau from the Plainville Fire Department in Connecticut. This is a long list. We haven't been here for a month, so it's a long list, but all the same, these men and women gave their lives protecting us, protecting our property, protecting everything that is about us. So please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Ms. Tanaka, roll call.
Mr. Angel?
Present.
Mr. Hall?
Present.
Mr. Hertz?
Here.
Mr. Pepper? Absent. Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Sweeney?
Here.
Mrs. Maston?
Here.
Madam President, roll call reveals 6 present, 1 absent.
Let the record show 6 present. We have a quorum. A motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved, Madam President. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Hertz. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Angel,
Yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Hertz,
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent, Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Mrs. Maston.
Yes.
Madam President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Let the record show 6 approvals for the agenda. At this point in time, we open up the agenda for public comments on agenda items that would not be covered under public hearing. Do we have anyone here who would like to give any public comment?
Madam President, we have no members from the general public online at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. At this point, I believe we have a presentation this evening on Senate Bill 237, Comprehensive Plan Climate Change Requirements. Mr. Phil Barnes from the Institute of Public Administration, come forward, please. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, Commissioners. My name is Philip Barnes. I'm from the Institute for Public Administration at the University of Delaware. I am here today to talk to you. It's a dialogue, actually, for a moment, to talk to you about SB 237, which is a bill that passed the General Assembly last year. It was signed by Governor Carney. And essentially what it does is it adds new requirements to the comprehensive plan, set of chapters or set of issues that a comprehensive plan must address. And it adds climate change and resiliency to that list. So I am here on behalf of the Institute for Public Administration because I'm going on a bit of a tour around the state, and I have been for the last couple months, visiting planning commissioners, planning and zoning commissions, and also I wanted to speak to the counties, particularly Kent and Sussex County, because I know your comp plan is going to be due, I think in 2028 or early 2029. And so the county will be subjected to the requirements of SB 237. So I'm here for primarily 2 reasons. One is to communicate the existence of the bill and the addition of climate change and resiliency into comprehensive plan requirements. And then 2 is to listen to you and to try and get your feedback, because the Office of State Planning Coordination has not yet established sort of the guidelines on what adding climate change and resiliency to a comp plan actually entails. And so what I'm doing is in each of these planning commissions that I visit and Kent County Council and Sussex County Council is to try and record your feedback. And I'm going to compile all of this feedback and present it to Office of State Planning Coordination before they go off to develop the guidelines for complying or for satisfying the requirements of SB 237. So I actually have copies of the printed copies of the bill. I don't know, can I share those with you now? So I've already visited this chamber and presented to the county planning zoning, and I've received some feedback from them. So I highlighted the changes. So the bill SB 237, which you have here, or a portion of it, which applies to Kent County, The underlying text that I've highlighted are the new changes to the county code. This is in the zoning portion of the state code, and it essentially amends what is required, as I said, amends what is required in the comprehensive development plan. So I'm not here on behalf of Office of State Planning Coordination or DENREC or anybody like that. What I'm really trying to do is trying to gather some feedback from commissioners, planning commissioners who are going to be responsible for developing the comprehensive plans, and also the councils, such as yourselves, that are going to be responsible for adopting those plans. And as I said, I'm going to try to assemble this feedback in a way and get it to state planning so that they've got some feedback before they go off and they actually define what this looks like. So that's my role.
Commissioner Sweeney, I believe you have a comment?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So, Mr. Barnes, we have an extensive section in our comprehensive plan that covers climate change. Is that something that, have you looked it over and seen that it doesn't meet SB 237?
That's not for me to say whether or not it meets SB 237 or not. Yeah. I have not investigated your comp plan, your 2020 or 2018 or 2019 comp plan.
I think it's pretty extensive that, you know, it addresses average temperature increase, sea level increases, extreme temperatures, rainfall, and brings into account agricultural preservation and has policy emphasis. I think it's pretty extensive, so I'm just not sure, other than you giving us the information that SB 237 has, that we haven't already addressed it, and I would have to refer to our Director of Planning, Sarah Kiefer, to make sure that we're covering what's in SB 237.
Does any other commissioners have any comments for Mr. Barnes? I mean, from my perspective, sir, I don't have enough information to know whether or not I'm in compliance specifically with SB 237.
Yeah.
Since this is the first time I've seen it. So as Commissioner Sweeney said, I'd be deferring a lot of this to Mrs. Kiefer, who's our planning director, because I can't intelligently comment on this.
Right. So just to be clear, this isn't retroactive. So it doesn't mean that suddenly your previous comp plan is out of compliance, right? So this would be expected of the update that will come in the next couple of years. So let me maybe phrase it this way. In the bill text, it asks counties to essentially create a future land use map that includes things like flooding and sea level rise. And then if you look on page 6, the section I highlighted at the near the top of page 6, that those growth areas for housing, for example, should be away from the areas that are vulnerable to flooding and sea level rise. So I think that's probably the most impactful new language in the code, in the state code that pertains to comprehensive planning. So as I said, the state hasn't established the compliance standards yet. So I understand that I'm asking you to sort of comment on something that doesn't exist, but for the sake here, imagine that I work at Office of State Planning Coordination and I'm going to go off and I'm going to develop those guidelines, right? What would you want to say to me?
Vice President Scott?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Barnes, please forgive me, but I'm a little confused. Mm-hmm. What is it what information are you trying to get from us? I think Commissioner Sweeney hit it right on the head. Generally, with all due respect, anything that pertains to planning, comprehensive planning, et cetera, we're going to definitely defer to our planning director or planning department. They're the ones that they live and eat this, sleep it day in and day out. So they are well in advance on this. And then I guess my next concern is you had said that, you know, it's not exactly approved yet. And even if it is approved, next year this whole thing could change. It could change, it could go away, it could be tweaked. All depends on what legislators want to do during session next year. So I think it would be somewhat unfair and impossible for us really for any of us to really comment on this particular bill at this time. That would be my personal take on it.
Mr. Angel?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Barnes, also, I always like getting all the document. We got pages 4 through 6, we're missing 1 through 3 and 7 through 10. So I would like to see what the before and after preamble and ending is. And on top of that, have you read the sea level rise, 600 and some odd pages?
So to address your first point for the bill, what I printed is what amends Kent County's code. The other text in the bill does the same for Newcastle and Sussex, so it's not relevant.
But have you read the sea level rise document? It's 600 some odd pages.
So I don't know which one you're referring to specifically, but
Okay.
if
Well,
it's a 600-page document,
I have. That's why I'm bringing it up. And it's very comprehensive and the amount of information. And when I was in Los Angeles, and gosh, 15, 20 years ago, or 15, 18 years ago, I was at the, I forget the name of the place where they have the ice caps across the whole TVs. And it showed each year the demise and how much, the ocean's rising at about an inch a year. So the only reason I'm bringing that up is I think there's some parts missing to this also that needs to be discussed because we have no control over that. It has nothing to do with warming of the climate, by the way. But I just like to have the whole document. I appreciate this, but pages 4 through 6 doesn't count it for me. So, thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Mr. Barnes, I'm just not sure what we could add or what we could even provide to you at this point, having seen this for the very first time and not having any comments coming from our planning department, which obviously is where we get our information, our guidance from. So, I mean, I appreciate you coming before us with it. I just not sure. I don't think anyone here in a position to comment. Am I correct?
Okay.
Sorry, I wish
No,
I could
that's
be more
okay.
help, but right now I can't.
Yeah, that's okay. I do have, as I said, I spoke to your planning commission. I did get some feedback from planning commissioners. So Kent County will be represented in the report that I'll produce for this. So if you trust them, then they've already given me the
Absolutely,
the
we
feedback.
trust
Yep.
our planning department.
There you go. All right. Thank you.
Okay, this evening we have no public hearings. Do we have any old business? Any new business? Mr. Angel, attorney appointments?
Thank you, Madam President. Any questions on the attorneys? At least we have them. So a move to approve Levy Court, Conley Gallagher, Regional Planning Commissioner, Conley Gallagher, Row Offices, Conley Gallagher, Board of Assessment Appeals, Gordina and Gang, and Edward Barrett Edwards will remain the attorney for munitions, and Fred Towns will remain the attorney for the Board of Adjustments. That's my motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Vice President Scott. Any questions? Roll call?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Madam President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Let the record show we have 6 yes on the attorney appointments.
I'd just like to say thank you, members of Levy Court, and we look forward to serving you, and my entire team looks forward to serving the county. We've actually been here a long time as outside counsel and litigation counsel, and are very excited to take on this opportunity. So thank you for your faith in us. Appreciate it.
We're very happy that you accepted the challenge. Mr. Scott, I believe you, our Vice President Scott, you have 3 items tonight.
Thank you, Madam President. Chief Tinger?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Good evening, Commissioners. For item number 1, there's actually 2 separate items that we're going to take motions on and we'll discuss. So the first half of the number 1 EMS station contract owner contingency fund. As you are aware, for each project, the Frederica project and the Harringer project, we had built into the contract a $100,000 contingency. Looking at the current expenditures and the proposed expenditures to the completion of the contract, our Harrington contingency of $100,000 is fine, and there'll probably be excess of money in there. The $100,000 for the Frederica will probably come up short if all the anticipated change orders come to fruition. So at this point, we're asking Levy Court the authority to transfer the money between the Harrington to make up for the shortfalls in the Frederica contingency. Additionally to that, all further change orders that come in that fall within that $200,000 cap contingency, we're asking Levy Court to authorize the county administrator to authorize those change orders to help keep the progress moving forward as smoothly as possible. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Tinger?
Yeah, so we had 100,000 at each place. You've used 80, you're going to use 86 at Harrington?
No, so looking at that second page of the memo on the right-hand side, for the Harrington buildings first, the $100,000, with actual and anticipated change orders, we should have a balance of $86,000 in the Harrington project at the conclusion. The second chart is the Frederica building, again, starting with $100,000. With actual and anticipated change orders, we're going to be short of about $36,000. So if we can transfer that 36 from the existing $86,000 in the Harrington to make the Frederica even, there'll be no change of money, no increase or additional request for money. We're just looking to transfer the contingencies that we have for individual projects to put it into one project to cover both.
No, I read it wrong. I see now it says balance is 86. I read it wrong.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Tinker? Commissioner Sweeney?
Hi, Chief.
Sir?
So the question of the day is, which one's ahead?
As of right now, the Frederica station is a little bit ahead.
Is it really?
Yes.
Even though it started later. It started later. It was a couple hours later, but it started later and now it's ahead. Good job.
And just to acknowledge, Mr. Mike Frieda is our project manager for both of these, so that's why he's here tonight in case there's technical questions outside my wheelhouse.
Any other questions?
Questions now? Yeah, I want to ask him about the stone under the foundation for the GTA for $88,000.
I think the commissioner is referring to is we had recycled concrete. Our geotechnical consultant requested.
He's gotta be
Sorry,
sworn in.
can you guys hear me okay?
Hold on, please, Mr. Frieda.
Sir, apparently, we have to swear you in, so can you just state your name and address for the record, and then I'll give you the swear in.
Certainly. Michael Frieda. My home address is 1310 North Bancroft Parkway, Wilmington, Delaware. That's also my office.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. So there was a change order for the use of recycled concrete to create a stabilized base on which this EMS station is being constructed, and the parking and driving areas as well. When the initial geotech report was completed, which was about a year ago now, everything was dry and the results were very good. We figured there was going to be some sort of undercutting of poor soils here and there, but once we started working in March and it rained, and then it rained again, and then it rained, we had just a sloppy mess. We tried different things with our site work contractor, bring in some dry soil to mitigate, and it just kept getting wetter and wetter. So our geotechnical consultant suggested that we add lifts of recycled concrete to create that stabilized base, as opposed to just common structural fill. The good news is it worked. So we delivered a very good product that EMS station is sitting on. But it did cost a surprising amount of money. It was a lot. But there was no other way to do it. We had to listen to our consultants and what they were recommending we do. In fact, as we were bringing the soil up, they were taking compaction tests. As we were bringing the recycled concrete up in lifts, they were taking compaction tests. They got to about the second lift or so. They said, this is really in pretty good shape. So I said, well, why do we need to keep going with recycled concrete? Why don't we just switch back to the common borrow fill? So they discussed it, and we agreed that that would be acceptable. So we probably saved another $50,000 that might have been spent to continue with recycled concrete. The sub-base that they dug down to wasn't great either. If you saw the photographs of what this place looked like before, we were just stuck. We couldn't move. It was just slop. So there's photographs that show how bad it really was. And then after the recycled concrete was installed, how much better it got. So.
Did you have to use fabric or geotextile?
Didn't have to use geotex fabric, no. They recommended just coming up with 8-inch lifts of concrete, and then they were taking compaction tests. And
So
it did work out.
So you just undercut to a certain point and then just start filling with crusher run, but no fabric, no nothing.
Pretty much, yes.
And it's holding.
Yep. When they got to the sub-base, he even said, I said, well, can we use common fill from here? Did you reach a stabilized point where we can just build on top of that? He says, I'm not confident that we can do that. I would feel better with the structure, with the recycled concrete.
What was your sub-base? Was it clay?
It was clay. It was sort of a silty clay material, so.
And they didn't put no barrier?
Didn't put a geotex barrier. Yep.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Thank you, ma'am. So, Mike, I look for anomalies. Just out of curiosity, we know both buildings are exactly the same. One of them you had to change roof panel, the other one you didn't. But the generator cost for one only went up $1,482. The generator cost for the Harrington building went up $600. Why would there be a difference if they're both exact same?
Great question. The Frederica site has the command we call it the warehouse.
Oh,
has an extra building.
Yep, that's
so
right.
That required a larger
A little
generator.
more. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Vice President Scott?
Thank you, Madam President. The only other question that I had, Mike, while you're still here, I did ask Administrator Sipple this question earlier, why the extra expense is coming in on the last page if we kind of knew that these things were going to be needed.
I'll address that with the next one, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Some of the other owner costs, okay.
Disregard, Mr. Frieda.
Sure thing. Thank you all. Thanks for your time.
Chief Tinger?
Did you want to take a motion on that or continue on with the other ones?
Make a motion to move it forward to new business.
Okay.
New business. Too many papers. Madam President, make a motion at this time for the reallocation of capital project contingency funds for the Harrington EMS Station project to the Frederica EMS Station project, and authorize the county administrator to approve and sign future change orders related to both projects within the approved contingency limits.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice President Scott, second by Commissioner Angel. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper? Absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Madam President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Vice President Scott, number 2.
Chief Tinger?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Commissioners, the second part of the number 1 that we were discussing is the owner responsible expenditures outside the construction contract. So we're at the point of this project where there are going to be expenditures that the owner is responsible for that we were unable to include in the construction contract. One of the things was the limitations on the ARPA funding usage for the building construction. So some of the things outlined in our memo are high-level categories that we have obtained preliminary quotations and summaries for, so that these are really good estimated costs that we're going to move forward with over the next couple of months at the completion of the project. So those are the 6 items that we have listed there with, again, estimated numbers for that. What we're asking for is authorization from you, Levy Court, to be able to use realty transfer tax contingency, the realty transfer tax contingency funds, to fund the owner responsible expenditures that we've outlined in here that were not covered under the construction contract initially.
Questions for Chief Tinger? Commissioner Hertz?
And these expenditures ARPA wouldn't cover.
Now, I can't say for all of them, but these are also items that we weren't able to purchase in the beginning. This is the time now to purchase the networking cables now that the construction is done. And I see the Savior walking down the aisle now.
Ms. Durham?
First and foremost, we're out of ARPA funds, so we don't have any ARPA funds to spend on that, so we chose the owner items to come out of our funds.
Well, it just boggles my mind a little bit that we didn't know ahead of time about exterior signage or wayfinding or interior signage.
Well, we knew about those items, but why would you want to pay your contractor to put those in and pay a commission on that when you can do it yourself and save money?
Oh, we're going to do them ourselves?
Well, we're going to hire somebody. We're not going to pay somebody else a commission to do it.
So you're saving us money.
Oh, yeah, man.
Any questions for either Chief Tinger or Ms. Durham? Thank you, Ms. Durham. Thank you, Chief Tinger. Vice President Scott?
Ms. Durham, Chief Tinger, thank both of you for the explanation on that. This time I'll make a motion to authorize the expenditure of the realty transfer tax contingency funds for owner-side project costs associated with the Frederica and Harrington EMS stations not to exceed $310,000 as outlined August 1st, 2025 memorandum from the Director of Public Safety.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice President Scott, second by Commissioner Hertz. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Madam President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Vice President Scott?
Thank you, Madam President. Chief Tinger?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Commissioners, the next items we would like to talk about is switching gears from the EMS stations to more of a retention or recruitment or retention. Currently, we have 12 vacancies. So our full complement of staffing is 60 paramedics. So we're actually at 20% vacancy right now. Good news is we've just interviewed and offered employment to a ready medic. So now we're down to 11. I think August 11th is her first day. So just under 20% now. But because of our severe staffing crisis that I will call it this time, we're looking to, the staff has discussed this at length with both administration and personnel and also finance, and we're looking to implement some strategies to mitigate some of our recruitment issues that we're having right now. The first one before you is about the paramedic trainee position. We started this program back in 2021. We were using Good Fellowship Church, Good Fellowship up in Chester, PA. That program was a Tuesday, Thursday night, and every other weekend. So the hours in class were minimal. We allowed for the flexibility of travel time, et cetera. When we hired the students back then in 21, it was a 35-hour a week. Since then, Del Tech has finally answered the calls for all the ALS agencies and put up a one-year program, so we've been using them. This is going to be the third year that we're looking to use Del Tech's the second year looking to use Del Tech's program. They are a Monday through Friday program. So as such, the students are really going to class more 40 hours with the Del Tech program compared to the Good Fellowship program. So we're looking to bring up the paramedic trainee salaries from a 35-hour week to a 40-hour week to better align with the school that we're chosen, and also to pay them, because once they come out into the field, they're actually working the same hours as a medic, which is like an average of 42 hours a week. We'll work with their schedules to make sure they maintain 40, but they're going to be out on the truck days and nights, and it's only right to pay them what we're asking them to work. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Chief Tigner? No questions? Thank you, Chief Tigner. Back to you, Vice President Scott.
Thank you. Chief Tinger, thank you for addressing this issue as well. It's kind of been somewhat long overdue since we started back with Delaware Technical, so appreciate that. This time I'll make a motion to approve the updated job description for the paramedic trainee position, increasing the standard work week from 35 hours to 40 hours to align with the current paramedic training program schedule.
Second motion.
We have a motion by Vice President Scott, second by Commissioner Angel. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Madam President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Vice President Scott.
Chief Tinger?
Thank you, Vice President Scott. Commissioners, the last item before you is our last current initiative to try to address our recruitment issues. Again, with 11 open vacancies right now. The most attractive employee candidate would be a certified paramedic coming from out of state. Those are the ones that we could probably get out into the field within about a 3-month period. The student program that we just addressed is great, but it's going to take about a year and a half before we see those students actually functioning as full-time paramedics. So one of the things that we have not been able to do over the years is attract certified paramedics. Newcastle County has just implemented something to the north of us, and as a result, in trying to stay competitive with our neighboring counties, we are respectively requesting that the commissioners consider doubling our sign-on bonuses for the paramedics. And before you is the current chart up on top, and our sign-on bonus is based upon your levels of experience, and there's 5 different categories, with the highest category being a fully certified paramedic with 3 to 5 years of experience coming to us. Currently, right now, we would offer them a $5,000 bonus paid out over 3 years. What we're requesting is that that number and all the subsequent numbers above it for the less experienced candidates all double in price. We're asking this to be a short term until our staffing levels get up, but hopefully we may be able to get 1 or 2 good certified medics from increasing this on a short-term basis. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Chief Tigger? Commissioner Angel?
Yes, Chief Tinger. God, I've heard this ever since I've been a commissioner.
Yes.
So, and we're still getting behind the scenes. We still can't get enough paramedics. And I know we're getting aged out. I just need to know, where are we at on the aging out? How many are going to be retired in the next 3 to 5 years?
We actually only have 4 that are eligible to retire in the next few years. We kind of lost all of those that needed to retire at our 30-year mark. So our attrition rate's not going to be high due to retirement.
Is our training program working well?
Del Tech right now is working very well for us. The first class has been extremely well. They're very, very successful. The current class in right now, they're all doing very well. So.
And how many trainees do we have in the program?
5 current in the Del Tech program. We're looking, and you guys approved the budget for the current year. We're going to look to put 6 in January.
Thank you. That was my next question. Thank you.
Just John, can you clarify that those 5 are not part of to replace the 11 that you're missing now? Those are
the current 5 that are in Del Tech would not affect these 11 vacancies. They're actually filling, where we're paying their salaries from the FTEs that we have for the paramedic ones now.
Questions for Chief Tinger?
Yeah, you say Newcastle County gives a lump sum of 10,000. Is that for any experience from 0 to whatever experience, or?
Yeah, it's not their academy students, but if you come in as a certified paramedic, at the end of your probationary period, they'll do one lump sum. We're not the only ones. I mean, this is unfortunately a national trend for emergency services having such staffing crises. So we're all trying to do different things, and we're competing with each other, unfortunately. We do assure you that we are trying to look at different ways and innovative ways, and we're not just looking at money. We're looking at other options, too, that we can implement to try to help our retention and recruitment.
Vice President Scott?
I just have basically a statement just so that the commissioners are aware that this isn't something that necessarily just stops here with the recruitment end of things. I know Chief Tinger and his staff are working very diligently on some retainment concerns as well of how to continue to retain our existing paramedics. So I don't want the commissioners to be light that, you know, this is not necessarily going to fix all of it, but I think it's a big step towards fixing it, and then the adjustments that may come down the road that may be presented, I think would tie in the recruitment and retention and hopefully get us to a position of being whole and solid again.
Any other questions? Commissioner Sweeney?
Thank you, ma'am. So, Chief, you mentioned the Newcastle County lump sum bonus.
Yes, sir.
Their FTO program, how long does it take for them to complete that?
On the average, they're about 9 months to a year.
So after 9 months to a year, they get the $10,000 bonus. You're recognizing that $10,000 bonus for someone who comes in with 3 to 5 years of experience will get that $10,000 bonus, but it's spread out over 5 years.
3 years, sir.
Okay.
Yep. Over 3 years. So if they want to stay, at least we get them for 3 years then if they want to stay and get their entire bonus. That's how we're looking at it.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks.
Commissioner Angel?
Chief Tinger, once they graduate, do they receive like time and grade as a student for retirement purposes for being a paramedic?
My understanding is yes. They are a county employee full-time.
Okay, so that also helps pay grade 2 to help them get to the next level quicker.
Well, yeah, so they were at pay grade 2111 as a student. Once they get their certifications, they'll get promoted to a 2118, which is a paramedic 1.
Just looking, as I said, this has been a while, so I just want to see if we're doing everything we can to help.
Yes, they're accruing time and everything while they're a student. Not using much of it, thankfully, but they're accruing it. So yes, it's beneficial to them.
Commissioner Hertz?
So if I'm reading this correctly, a 3 to 5 year person comes in, and after year 1, they've already collected $5,000.
No, sir. So using the top chart, which is the current thing, upon hire, they would get a $500 bonus. At the end of their 6-month probation, they would get another $1,000 bonus. And then at the end of the first year, they would get $1,000. So at the end of their first year, they technically would get $2,500, or half of the $5,000.
I'm looking at what you got proposed.
Proposed would be the same thing, yeah. So it would be $5,000 of the $10,000, just like they get now $2,500 of the $5,000 in the first year.
Okay, so I could come here with 3 to 5 years experience, and after the first year, walk away with $5,000, quit, go to Newcastle County, and get 10,000 upon hire and walk away from the final 5,000 that would take me another 2 years to get.
But that $5,000 is well worth it for that year of service you gave to Kent County.
But my point is, are we locking them in for the full 3 years? Are we just, or once as they hit them benchmarks, they get the money, but they can walk away at any time?
Correct. And this has been in place since 2021. If we'd like to change it, we could definitely bring it to workshop and relook at the format that we're using. We're open to that. This is just, we weren't looking to change what we've been doing. We were just asking to increase the dollar signs. But if there's a better way to do it that's more incentivizing, then we could definitely look at that.
Vice President Scott?
Chief Tinger, Administrator Sipple, you both were over there during this period, if I remember correctly. We used to have the program where we tied them in for so long, and I think it became more of a nightmare than it was worth with the attempt of tying them in, because if they left, virtually the only thing you were doing was going after them in court for the funding of the schooling and stuff. Am I correct by saying that?
That's been the new trend, unfortunately, with the newer hires. Yes, they're not staying the full 3 years. They're willing to give up the remainder of their bonus and actually are willing to pay back the county for expenditures for educational services to move on to different jobs. That's why I said if we can get a year out of someone, I'll take that year.
Yeah, my point is, you do whatever you come in as, in the first year, you've taken half the money that you're entitled to, and then you can walk away, because
Valid point, Commissioner Hertz, and I think that's where we need to work on the retainment. We have a good, strong retainment program in place. I think that'll alleviate some of that walking away possibility after a year or two.
Any other questions for Chief Tigner? Vice President Scott?
I move to approve the revised paramedic sign-on bonus program as presented by the Department of Public Safety, with the funding to be provided from the existing FY 2026 operating budget. This updated incentive structure is intended as a short-term recruitment and retention strategy to address the current staffing shortage within the division of EMS, and will be subject to future review and adjustment based on vacancy levels.
Second motion.
Motion by Vice President Scott, seconded by Commissioner Angel. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Madam President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. Let the record show a vote of 6 in favor of the sign-on bonuses as presented. Commissioner Hall, I believe you have 2 introductions.
Thank you, Madam President. Introduction of ordinance LC 25-15, an ordinance to amend the comprehensive plan map designation in the official zoning map of Kent County, Delaware, pursuant to the provisions of Kent County Code, Volume 2, Chapter 205, Zoning, Article 3, Section 205-8 and Section 205-9, and Article 28, Changes and Amendments, effective December 1, 2000, as amended, referencing CZ 25-03, Susan D. and John C. Nichols, Jr., for a public hearing on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. An introduction of LC 25-19, an ordinance to amend the comprehensive plan map designation and official zoning map of Kent County, Delaware, pursuant to the provisions of Kent County Code, Volume 2, Chapter 205, Zoning, Article 3, Section 205-8 and 205-9, and Article 28, Changes and Amendments, effective December 1, 2000, as amended, referencing CZ-25-04, George A. and Amy S. Lewis, for a public hearing on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. Any other business?
Thank you, Madam
Vice
President.
President Scott?
This time, I will move to go into the executive session immediately following the business meeting on August the 12th for a preliminary discussion on the site acquisition for a publicly funded capital improvement, legal strategies session regarding collective bargaining or pending potential litigation, personnel matters pursuant to 29 Delaware C 10004B 24 and 9.
Second motion.
Motion by Vice President Scott, second by Commissioner Angel. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper, absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Madam President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Let the record show 6 yeas. Any information items? Commissioner Angel?
Thank you, Madam President. I received a kind of disturbing letter. I'd like to read partly of it in the record because she asked me to put this out. As a Chinese American voter in your district, I'm deeply shocked and outraged by the recent case of the University of Michigan involving 3 Chinese nationals, and she names the names, I can't pronounce them, who allegedly smuggled dangerous biological material in the United States, posing serious threats to our agricultural security and public safety. This fungus, which I cannot pronounce either, which attacks wheat, barley, maize, and rice, is classified by the Department of Justice as a potential agroterrorism weapon. Is accused of shipping worm-related biological materials without permits. She also wants to state stress that the CCP spy activities do not represent the Chinese American community. Many of us came to the United States to escape communist tyranny. Because we have lived under the dictatorship, we value American freedom and rules of law deeply. We are among its most loyal patriots. Just want to bring that to your attention that even as we speak, if we don't know some of the things that are taking place, we can't help. So I just wanted to get the word out there that we need to look at this as another way of combating what we are as being attacked, not just cybersecurity. It's also interwoven among society. Thank you.
Any other information items? Any public comment?
Madam President, there are no members from the general public online at this time.
Thank you. A motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Thank you all.